Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we will compare how good Elden Ring runs on Valve's Steam Deck and on the Ally. Will the Ally destroy the Steam Deck, or will the veteran put up a fight? We have both devices with the most recent drivers, BIOS, and system upgrade. The Steam Deck is set to 15 watts and running the game at 800p on medium settings. During our test, the Steam Deck managed to get an average of 31 FPS. We reached the maximum of 40 FPS during some of the less intensive moments, and we saw the FPS drop all the way down to 28 while we were engaged fighting against a large group. The temperatures came in pretty hot at 84 degrees, which made the Steam Deck's fans scream a bit trying to cool things down. With this configuration, the Steam Deck managed to get 1 hour and 52 minutes of gameplay. But how did the Ally do in this same scenario? Here are the results. Rendering at 720p, the Ally managed to hit an average of 32 FPS, just 1 FPS higher than the Steam Deck. During the less intensive moments, it reached 38 FPS, and during heavy combat we saw some dips into the high 20s. One thing that the Ally does pretty well is keeping the system cool, nearly 20 degrees cooler than the Steam Deck. On battery life, the Ally matches the battery life of the Steam Deck, so it's a tie in this department. Now let's move on and set both the Steam Deck and the Ally to 10 watts. So we're hitting the Ally's weak spot here. Will it hold up? Let's see. When turning on the Ally silent mode, it was only able to average 21 FPS. The max FPS it managed to pull off were 27 and the lowest 18. Pretty disappointing overall. The temperatures and battery life were good though. On the other hand, the Steam Deck managed to do an excellent job at 10 watts. It was able to reach an average of 30 FPS with a max of 37 FPS and a minimum of 28. Really impressive given the energy budget. Temperatures were okay on the Steam Deck, and the battery life matches what the Ally got. How about comparing the Steam Deck at 15 watts to the Ally at 25 watts? So, let's bring up the Steam Deck results that we got before. 31 average FPS, maximum of 41 FPS, and a min of 28, reaching 84 degrees and giving us nearly 2 hours of battery life. Let's have a look at the Ally's results at 25 watts. You can see that it's able to get nearly a 20% boost in FPS, averaging 36 FPS. The max FPS aren't very different than what the Steam Deck is getting, but there is a 21% increase in minimum FPS, which will make the game look smoother in demanding areas and battles. On the negative side, you can see that the temperatures are nearly equal to the Steam Deck, even though you can barely listen to the Ally's fans. And on the battery department, the Ally is really disappointing. You'll be getting roughly an hour of gameplay at 25 watts. Okay, now we are lowering the settings to see if anything changes at 10 watts. Well, the Ally gets a whooping 18 average FPS, while the max frames per second recorded is 20, and the lowest is 16. The temperatures are great at 58 degrees, but I would prefer if the Ally ran hotter and gave me better performance instead. Battery life is great, clocking in 2 hours and 43 minutes of estimated gameplay under a full charge. The Steam Deck, on the other hand, is hitting an average of 34 frames per second, while topping out at 43 frames per second when there isn't much going on. And we saw the Steam Deck hit 30 FPS in the most intense moments. The temperatures were okay at 75 degrees, and it got nearly the same battery life as the Ally. Let's continue our benchmark and test Elden Ring on low settings using 15 watts on both the Steam Deck and the Ally. Okay, we're seeing the Steam Deck getting an average of 37 frames per second at 15 watts, which is really close to the 40 FPS that we usually like to target. During less intensive moments, the Steam Deck managed to hit 42 FPS, and in the most intense battle moments, we saw the deck dip to 33 FPS. So, in the worst case scenario, the Steam Deck still managed to deliver over 30 FPS. The temperatures are on the higher side, as is usual to see on the Steam Deck given its single fan cooling design. And we got an hour and 55 minutes of gaming with these settings. Now let's compare these results to what the Ally achieved. On the Ally, we got the same average FPS as on the deck in relaxed areas. The Ally is pushing 1 extra FPS than the Steam Deck, putting its maximum FPS at 43. Then, on the demanding moments, we saw it hit 34 FPS, which is also 1 FPS higher than the Steam Deck. The temperatures were really good, staying at or below 70 degrees at all times. As you can see, the battery life on the Ally with these settings is lower than what the Steam Deck is getting, when until now, both devices had a nearly exact battery life. In this case, the cause is that on the Ally, the performance mode boosts up to 20 watts, which is what we are seeing happening here. The last thing I want to try is to compare the Steam Deck and the Ally at their max. This is 25 watts on the Ally versus 15 watts on the Steam Deck. It's a bit of an unfair test, but it really shows the capabilities of these devices. So, let's go through the Steam Deck's results we got at 15 watts real quick. It's averaging 37 FPS, hitting a maximum of 42 FPS and a minimum of 33. The temperatures it's reaching to deliver that level of performance is 83 degrees, and it has an expected battery life of 1 hour and 55 minutes. The Ally, at its maximum power, is delivering pretty much the same FPS as when we were using the performance mode at 20 watts. We are seeing the exact same frames per second here. Average FPS of 37, maximum of 43, and minimum of 34. This kind of proves that using the 25 watt turbo mode instead of manually setting the Ally to 20 watt might not make much sense, since we are now getting much higher temperatures, hitting 81 degrees, and we're also getting a much worse battery life of just 1 hour and 12 minutes. Well guys, I think that pretty much does it for now. If you found this video useful, I'm sure you're also going to want to watch these other videos. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any more questions, or if there's something you'd love to see us cover in the next videos, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments below. We appreciate your feedback.